What up, YouTube? It's your boy Sleep back with another video, and today we are reacting to the strange disappearance of Daequan. Y'all don't know nothing about no Daequan. I'm about to put y'all on. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is like the top 3, and he's not 3, not 2. He's the one. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Fortnite shit back in 2018, 19, it was the GOAT in my eyes, and I put that over everybody. Ninja, Myth, all that. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into this video, go ahead and hit the description box below with the bell to the side for Notice Squad and like this video. You know what I'm saying? We are almost at 600. That's the next goal. You feel me? That being said, let's see what this video hitting for. Let's get it. Wow.
Game was extremely fast.
Come here, boy!
He began streaming consistently in November 2017.
That was right on
but
cue.
little did he know that he chose the perfect game at the perfect time. Fortnite Battle Royale. He'd start off with a round.
See, it's like when Fortnite was dying off, he should have switched to Apex. Well, I'm pretty sure he did. They're from Apex, back to Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Do the little weapons, like pick a weapon and then do a video on that. You know what I'm saying? Using the weapon and search, destroy, and all that. Then from that, he should have went to Warzone, and then from Warzone to Arc Raiders, just like, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
and 5 viewers.
That would have been.
Only 1 week
I know he had some personal
he'd
stuff
already
going
surged
on,
to
but
a peak of 87 live viewers. Daequan was quickly attracting an audience
I
due
used
to his
to
high
watch
level of
him
skill
heavy.
in the game. But it wasn't just skill. Daequan also had a natural talent as an entertainer, and people were drawn into his hilarious personality. Things started moving even faster, and the
And
following
Daequan, where
week,
you
his
at,
live
Dede?
view account would skyrocket to 500, and more fuel was added to the fire when Daequan would randomly end up in a squads lobby with the then popular streamer Dakotas. The two would have instant chemistry, and Dakotas took notice of how good Daequan was at the game and would get him invited to the first Fortnite Invitational competitive matches. And in these games, Daequan would live up to the hype and go on to win many of these private tournaments. And with the lobbies being full of huge streamers that Daequan was wiping out with ease, it wasn't long before he saw even more growth. And by the end of December, he now had 5 invitational wins, 700 wins in public games, and had peaked at around 3,000 live viewers. This was absolutely incredible if you consider the fact
we're
that
just watching this like this is back when Fortnite made sense. Like, damn, dude, it's good times. I was still cheeks, but at the end of the day, it was still fun. You know what I'm saying?
just 45 days ago, Daequan was streaming to 10 people. It was now 2018, and he'd continue grinding, going live every day, and by early February, he would reach 10,000 live viewers, with his YouTube now seeing 10 million views in a month. On top of this, he would also sign to the pro esports org TSM. In March, he would then break the world record for the most kills in one game, and by April, he had solidified himself as one of the biggest streamers in the world, averaging 10,000 viewers every stream. Daequan
no, it's
would
crazy.
also collab with
I ain't never tuned into a stream before. I always watch his videos, but I never knew he streamed for. Damn, that's crazy.
With other huge streamers, and would move to LA to live in the now iconic TSM streamer house alongside his roommates Hamlet and Myth, who are also some of the biggest streamers in the world at the time, with the 3 often collaborating together on and off stream, creating even more buzz around Daequan. And his growth was unstoppable, as by June 2018, Daequan would now peak at 150,000 live viewers.
See, I never
and when
knew
you
this.
consider he'd only been streaming for around 7 months at this point, this level of viewership was nothing other than jaw-dropping. And his YouTube channel would eventually peak in August 2018 with 68 million views. And Daequan seemed to be happier than ever. However, in this very month, Daequan would reveal details about his past and how he'd previously had serious struggles with his health and had been battling depression.
Yeah, so like I'm 20, I had a really high-paying job. I was just having the time of my life, man.
He was 20? Oh, or is he telling the story?
And then I got extremely sick. I was sick for 3.5 years. Very, very, very sick. I had to quit my job. I was literally just sitting in my bed. It was just severe nausea at all times.
I remember watching this
video. It
video.
felt like I was being stabbed in my stomach. And then 3 months went by, and then 6 months went by, and then a year went by. And that's when I really started getting depressed. And then on top of that, I had my first lung collapse. I was literally in the hospital for a month just for that. To this day, I still never knew what was wrong with me, and I still have those feelings sometimes in my stomach. I don't know, I just kind of like fight through it and ignore it as if it's not even there. My entire life was just ripped from me, you know? So I was super depressed, man. Like, it was really bad.
Daequan still felt he hadn't fully overcome the sickness. However, he would fight through and ignore the pain and continued streaming consistently all throughout 2018, going live almost every day, consistently averaging 20 to 30,000 live viewers. 2018 would be an incredible success, and going into the new year, Daequan would set himself a New Year's goal of uploading daily content in 2019. However, that goal was far from met. and 2019 would prove to be a troubling year for Daequan. For the first few months of the year, he would stream a lot less than the year prior and was often tweeting about his struggles with sickness. But things weren't all bad, as he was still fairly active, and his streams were still doing amazing, averaging 20,000 viewers despite Fortnite losing some popularity. However, by the end of April, it seemed his health problems were becoming much harder to manage, as the following month he would only go live 9 times. With Daequan tweeting, "The worst type of stomach problems are the ones where you don't know what the cause is, so you're just always in pain/nauseated and don't know how to make it go away. Hopefully we'll figure it out soon. I'm trying." And unfortunately, he wouldn't figure it out soon, with him not posting a single upload to YouTube or going live even once for the next 2 months. And after 2 months away, he would eventually tweet about how he's feeling better and should be returning very soon. He stayed true to his word and had his return stream on the 10th of August 2019, going live to a peak view count of 80,000, showing just how many people had missed him. This was accompanied by a return to YouTube with a video titled, "Where Have I Been?", giving his audience an insight into his life and why he left.
Yo, what's good, everybody? I miss y'all, man. I miss everything. During my whole time grinding, I was dealing with all those health issues. Finding out what was wrong with me was a top priority this year, and that was the reason for my original break. And having all that said, things continued to go downhill. Exy, she ended up eating at a restaurant and catching E. coli. On top of that, she had a really bad reaction to the antibiotics that she was on. Balancing all of this on top of streaming a game that I started to find very unfun and more of a chore to play, it really sucked. Literally, all the things I blocked out, all the things I ignored, all the stress I swept under the rug, it just caught up to me, you know? I just missed the feeling of waking up ready to play a game that I fell in love with, and I haven't had that feeling in a very long time. I started to dislike Fortnite once I started playing pro. It was just a snooze fest. I've gone through so much, but I'll be alright. I'm gonna be back super consistent on everything soon enough. I miss you guys, man.
Following this video, Daequan's girlfriend's health condition would get worse, and this seemed to impact his stream schedule, with him being very inconsistent throughout August. Daequan would then have a small run of consistency before disappearing again in the middle of November, and this was followed by a tweet where he would write about how bad his girlfriend's health had become and how it was destroying his mental state. During his hiatus, Daequan would post a tweet longer in December 2019, writing about how it hasn't been his year, and in 2020, he would be back. But that didn't turn out to be true. And despite saying he'd be in the full swing of things by January, he wouldn't go live or upload a single video until 26th of February 2020, almost a quarter of the way throughout the year. And if you thought that disappearance was bad, what follows is much worse. And Daequan would go live just twice more before completely disappearing for the whole of 2020. Not to mention, this was during the peak of the coronavirus, where he would have been likely stuck inside, with presumably not much to do, and streamers were now getting more views than ever, with Twitch seeing massive growth all around. But with no tweets,
bro, 2020, bro, was crazy, man. As far as everything shutting down, it's just taking all the toilet paper, you feel me? Toilet paper, paper towels, food, the canned foods, the shelves is empty, dog. When I came back home, bro, came back to Jersey, nigga, I seen graffiti on the walls. It was a ghost town, you know what I'm saying? Anybody outside wearing masks and stuff, the sky, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It looked like apocalypse, bro.
Streams,
I was
no
like,
YouTube
damn.
videos following March 2020, people were in the dark of where Daequan was, and it wasn't until November 2020, after 8 months, his fans would get any kind of answer, with a tweet writing how he felt better than he had in years. Many expected this to be his return, but little did his fans know at the time, Daequan was in fact very far from returning. December 2020, he was ghost. January, February, March of 2021, nothing. Daequan had been gone so long, YouTubers began making video essays on his disappearance, with multiple viral videos.
Every single one of them.
Daequan's fans had made it very clear that they wanted
Come
him
here,
back,
boy!
with thousands of comments showing their support for him. However, Daequan would not return despite this outpouring of love, and was nowhere to be seen all the way until August 2021, when he would finally show he was still alive with a mysterious tweet of the emoji eyes. And if you thought that after almost 2 years of inactivity, Daequan would be irrelevant, you'd be very wrong. People were more hungry for his content than ever, and it showed, with this tweet getting over 300,000 likes, and a huge outpour of massive creators showing their excitement. Something big was definitely coming, and this was followed by posters and billboards showing up all around LA, with Daequan and his former TSM teammate Hamlin's, with quotes such as, "Have you seen these streamers?" and "Find the streamers." This was followed up 2 days later by the announcement that Daequan had joined NRG alongside Hamlin's and 7 other friends to make a content house called the NRG Foom House. A YouTube channel was created for the group, with the first video titled "Revealing Daequan and Hamlin's New Content House," which quickly gained 3 million views and would show Daequan in his new $7 million content house. And a couple weeks later, Daequan would stream for the first time in a year and a half, seeing a peak view count of 90,000 live watching. But as is often the case with creators, if they have disappeared before and are notoriously inconsistent, they will often do the same in the future. And well, that turned out to be the case for Daequan. Despite huge money invested by the org, huge numbers pulled in new content, and Daequan proving he can still stream to a massive audience on Twitch, after just 2 months of uploads to the channel, the NRG Foom House would stop uploading. And it was over already. Daequan would also have his last stream of 2021 in the same month, and his last tweet before disappearing through November and December. This was so confusing. He just had this massive hyped return, and now he was already gone? What was going on? Well, viewers would eventually get answers in January of 2022, with Daequan tweeting, "Alright, time to talk about everything," and going live on his Twitch. This was accompanied by a video to his YouTube addressing everything. In the video, he explains all the problems with the Foom House, with the main issue being that apparently the internet was absolutely terrible, and Daequan's room had no hot water or heating. Whilst his fans were showing support in the YouTube comments, many people on Reddit were not impressed by this video, with comments such as, "Zero credibility with this guy, came back for a paycheck, he just used his fans, streams and then disappears again. My favorite part was him complaining about how he had to sleep in the movie room. I hope I never experience cold so bad in the bedroom of my mansion that I have to sleep in the movie room. If only he had enough money to buy an electric heater." Following this, he would tweet about how his nightmare was over. I'm going to mention how he was in the process of moving back to Vegas and couldn't wait to do IRL content. By February the 7th, he'd now moved in and had internet, but in his return stream, things were very different. He'd clearly grown very tired of Fortnite. After all, the game was completely different now to how it was in its peak 4 years ago. Daequan would decide to stream a game other than Fortnite, seeing him play Lost Ark, and let's just say this change in content, accompanied by his extreme levels of inconsistency over the last 3 years, turned out to not go well together, and he'd see an average of 3,700 viewers, all whilst losing 500 followers. But then 2 days later, he would jump back on Fortnite, averaging 14,000 viewers and gaining 3,000 new followers, showing—
That's what I don't want, bro. Like, blow up playing the game you like, right? Or doing something that you like, and then you lose love for it. So you go and do other things and you don't get the same type of engagement, you know what I'm saying? And you got forced to basically do what you done before, which is something that you no longer like doing. Slave to it.
That if he just kept playing Fortnite, he'd still be one of the biggest streamers in the world. But despite the successful stream, Daequan would never go live ever again following this stream. And since this moment, he hasn't gone live in over 3.5 years, with not a single explanation of where he has been. No tweets, no videos, no Instagram posts, no streams, leaving his audience completely in the dark. Throughout 2022 and 2023, fans would wait and hope for a return, or even just a tweet from Daequan to explain where he'd gone and if he was okay, but that would never come. However, there was an important development in November 2023, with the announcement of Fortnite OG being released, which would see the game revert back to its old original map, loot pool and mechanics. This sparked a lot of hype around old Fortnite streamers who had reached huge viewership back in the early days of Fortnite. With fans wanting a hit of nostalgia, players like Myth, Tfue and Ninja were sure to see a huge influx in viewership, and this announcement reignited speculations of Daequan's whereabouts, with many wondering if this was the moment to encourage him to return to streaming. If he came back now to play OG Fortnite, it's highly likely he would have been streaming to a huge audience.
Facts,
and
bro.
if there was a time to return, this was it. However, his old TSM teammate Myth would tweet,
That
"Spent this
flat top
morning
be
thinking
blowing me,
about
bro."
how I'm gonna log into OG Fortnite without the real OG squad," clearly suggesting that he'd had no contact with Daequan, and nothing to suggest that Daequan would be making a return, which of course was heartbreaking for fans. After so long with no explanation, some fans would start to get emotional, as they felt they deserved at least a tweet to explain why he had left. And for the first time, some of his fans seemed to be losing their patience with Daequan.
Welcome to the NRG Thoom house, baby.
Waste of $7 million. You finessed all of your fans for millions of dollars just to leave again. I don't give a if you got problems, bro. I know damn well it's not big enough problems to not make a single tweet. Finesse all of y'all, bro, for money. I just find it so weird how you can put all of your friends in this house, have a $7 million house, and literally, like, leave your fan base and not make a single tweet. I think Hamlin's is cool. Didn't he make a tweet about it? But Daequan just left. I don't understand that.
Back and we taking over! Yes, sir!
Yeah, we're taking over!
This is
gremlin,
exactly
bro.
how I feel. They do not care about anyone on the internet, especially the people that got them where they are now. Straight scammed NRG2, said the house couldn't get stable internet. However, some fans were more understanding, suggesting Daequan didn't owe anyone anything, and it was likely due to his depression or physical health issues that he had disappeared. On top of this, some streamers would also speculate as to where Daequan had disappeared, or why he disappeared.
The only scary thing about stepping away from content creation is if you step away, you might lose your passion for content creation. Like, you might realize that maybe it's not what you want to do in life. I think that happened with Hamlin's. I think that happened with Daequan. I think when they stepped away and they stopped making content, they realized, oh man, like, I don't really want to make content. And the only way you realize that is once you make that decision to walk away from it. Once you make that decision, you have time to think, to process things, to do things in your life that you haven't had the time to do. So time will tell.
It's unclear what the reason is for Daequan.
Yeah, that makes sense, but it's like when you already gain a following, bro, and you already pop off for doing whatever it is you're doing, man. I don't like people that, like, they blow up and they be like, man, I don't even want to do this no more. Like, it just comes off ungrateful, bro, because everybody, it's like mad people trying to get where you at, you know what I'm saying?
On's disappearance. But if I were to speculate, in his career, he would have likely made millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. So he had enough money to disappear and never have to work again for the rest of his life. Especially when you consider he majored in business studies at college. Also, Daequan clearly had long-standing mental health struggles with depression and serious physical health issues too. And when you couple this with the extremely high expectations his fans hold of him, perhaps he found the pressure too much. And with enough money saved up, why not just go out at the top and focus on improving his mental and physical health?
Bro,
However,
tall as
amongst all
hell,
of this, it is hard to see why he couldn't take a very small amount of time to load up Twitter and even give a minor explanation as to where he's been and just tell his fans that he's okay. It's unclear if Daequan will ever make a return, but it's safe to say he will always be remembered as one of the greatest streamers of all time, and he won't be forgotten anytime soon.
Damn. Well, guess what? It's not too late, Daequan. You know what I'm saying? You can still come back. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Daequan, where you at? Come here, boy. Like, with that being said, that's the end of the video. Y'all leave your thoughts in the comments below and hit the description box below with the bell to the side for Notice Squad and like this video. Because guess what? We're locked in. Let's get it.